Good afternoon, everyone. It is a beautiful day. Yesterday was nasty and cold, like 40 degrees. It went down to like 29 this morning. There was a frost. Today it's beautiful and I'm so glad. And it's planting season again. So I am out here in my garden, not planting my garden yet, but I'll show you what I am planting. We have this elderberry bush that grew here as a volunteer. Years ago, he never really knew what it was until it started getting the berries on it. And it has grown so many berries over the past few years just on this single bush. But it is getting older, and I tried transplanting some of them off it before and it didn't work, but the area here where I was going to transplant them was all weeds and I think it just got overgrown. So we're going to try it again. I actually got some free transplants that were already kind of started, so I'm going to try those. My husband went and knocked all the weeds down, tilled up the soil, and putting this strip of black weed barrier. It's not really a fabric, it's a plastic, which I don't love, but it does keep the weeds down. It works really well. Put that down. I've gone and marked out 6 different holes. I honestly don't expect that they'll all take, if any of them, so it's just kind of an experiment. But this is on, well, I mean, this is where the volunteer came up, so it must be a place where they like to grow. So I thought we'd be better off planting them here. And this is actually on the edge of my big, like, main garden, I guess is what I would call it. So this right here that my husband tilled up, it's not quite dry enough yet, and we've had a lot of rain, but by tomorrow night we're thinking it should be dry enough to plant some here. So we're actually, this will be covered in my black plastic that I've used years prior, so I do reuse it. This will be now my cucumbers, watermelons, squash, anything like that. And then I need a place to plant my onions, so hopefully on the end I think there'll still be room to plant my onions and probably zucchini. So that's the plan for that. Over there is going to stay the same as it was last year, so it's going to be tomatoes, peppers, beans, what else, celery, sunflowers. Not sunflowers, I do have sunflowers that grow in there, but I had too many sunflowers last year and they shaded things out, so I have to kick those down a notch. So I'll probably have to be pulling seedlings because they seed themselves. In the far up there is garlic that I planted in October. Those are still carrots that actually overwintered, and I've used them, so I'm glad about that. Yeah, and then I'll probably have some extra holes if I get, I don't know, extra seedlings of something, I'll put them in there. But it's mostly tomatoes, beans, peppers. It's my main crop that I plant in that garden. So that won't be planted out yet for a while. It is actually April 25th. So we haven't had the weather to get potatoes in, or I mean, get the weather and then it goes freezing again. So we need to get them in so they can be ready. Yeah. But anyway, so this isn't where the potatoes are going. This is the squash garden, and I'll take you over the potatoes in a minute. So I just took the newspaper off the bottom. Came in wet newspaper, and these have great root systems on already, which when I did them, they were just sticks, which it said it could be done, but that's probably why they didn't take. So hopefully these will do really well with these nice roots already on them. They already are starting to green up, so it was time to put them in the ground. There's the first one in the ground. I don't know, hope I'm doing it right. I just covered up the roots and left what was new coming up. Just gonna tamp it down to get all the air pockets out. The soil is nice and moist. My husband did put manure on it a couple weeks ago, so it has more nutrients in it. And we'll be getting rain on Saturday, so it should be well watered in. On to the next 5. All right, got these all planted. I don't know if you can see them that well. They do have some growth. That's a really nice one actually there. This is kind of a weaker one. These were over here, so actually 2 and 1. Really only put the slots for 6. So 6 holes, 6 plants, and why I kept calling this potatoes is because it was potatoes last year, and our last year potatoes did so well. We had so many that I still have some left. Like I said, it's April 25th and we're still using potatoes that I dug up in, I think, the end of October, maybe early November. But potatoes have to be rotated, so they can't go back here again, which is why we tilled this up, put some manure on it. It's going to get covered, and that's going to be our like vining plants section. And then I'll show you where the potatoes are going to be. So I have kind of 2 sections of gardens. That's my main garden, and where I just showed you the vining plants are going to be, that's where I just planted the elderberries. And then just over here, there's our sad little peach tree, which has a few blossoms, but we got a frost last night, so I'm sure it's not going to do anything. And then this section is where potatoes are going to go this year. This is where my vining plants went last year. So that's all nice and worked up, but it does definitely need to dry.